I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Tom Heffner. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I am doing fantastic. We just had our Thanksgiving holiday today, and I spent it savoring not only food, but the time with my wife and my two boys and our brand new baby girl.
Wow, well, congratulations. Wow, so it's her first Thanksgiving, right? Wow.
It is.
Wow. That's great. Really glad to hear that. Ooh, the hungry part of what I'm going through right now, being the final conversation before I eat, just got probably squared in terms of you talking about Thanksgiving, right? But it's good to know you had your meal. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Stuffing, hands down.
All right. Yes. Now the squared has gone to cubed in terms of my hunger. Well, tell us, what part of the world are you in right now, Tom?
So I am in the United States, and I'm located pretty close to Washington, D.C. So I'm about halfway between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Maryland.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
My charm and witty personality aside, I think it's my talent and experience hosting the Next Year Now podcast, where we interview some of the most successful people in the world to uncover their habits and practices that have helped them achieve their success. So, we're fellow podcasters, brother.
Yeah. I always get excited for that. The podcast community is amazing audience. If you're listening, where family is family, most definitely. Wow, I've gotten value there, and I do intend to bring it as much as I've gotten it. Well, Tom, tell us, who did you learn the skill of podcasting from?
Before I started podcasting, I thought I was good at interviewing people because it was part of my job, but I knew that podcasting was different. So I sought out a coach to help me. And this gentleman is named Jeff Brown. So if you're listening, Jeff, big shout out to you. He's a former radio broadcaster, and in my opinion, he's as good as it gets in the podcasting world in terms of learning how to be a podcaster.
Yeah, Jeff was on the podcast. Jeff is amazing. I think when you search on LinkedIn podcast, the keyword alone, Jeff is probably the first guy that pops up as well.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, you're definitely amazing. So you've been doing this. Why will you continue on this route of podcasting?
So my mom's Italian, so it kind of comes genetically, the gift of gab, right? I love to talk. And I think in particular, I've always loved to have critical, thoughtful, kind of deep philosophical conversations with people. And so this is an opportunity, or at least one opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Well, tell me, how has it changed you, the podcasting?
I think it's given me a level of maybe autonomy and a level of autonomy and confidence maybe I didn't have before. I mean, I've always been somewhat confident, but I think stepping outside of my professional day-to-day duties as an engineer and design strategist to do something like this, it's given me that extra bit of confidence.
Yeah, you sound great as well. Amazing tones. I get to hear so many tones, right?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm telling you, sound great. Even the podcast is amazing. Well, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
So I would say, probably the most important thing I've done is, show up as every day as a father to my children and a husband to my wife. That's probably not always easy, but I do my best. Professionally, I've been a big advocate of learning something new every day. So that's kind of what I do professionally and every day, and what I do personally every day.
How does it make you feel?
I think for me, as a father, that goes without saying, but from a professional perspective, it makes me feel great, right? Because curiosity and a love of learning are two of my signature strengths. And so those are what make me feel alive. That's, when I get to exercise those strengths every day, that's a good feeling, brother.
Yeah, I can well imagine. Well, amazing audience. I'm not sure who cooked that food, but this guy is definitely an energy bunny tonight. Definitely suggest to someone who is listening out there, someone that may be walking in the park right now, just wondering, what is the value of life, or what should I do to bring value? Why would you suggest to them that they do place value on family and even their career, showing up, if you would?
I mean, at the end of the day, you you only get one shot at this life. And for me, family became it's always been important, but I think it became doubly important when I was 16 years old. My dad was he's still alive when I tell the story, but he was shot in the chest with a .45 hollow point, and that just kind of hammered home how important it was to have people that you love around you and to be there for you. And my father being one of those people to help shape me with the values that I've learned of honesty and persistence and all those things. So yeah, family is everything.
Amazing audience. We are live with Tom Heffner. He is the podcast host at the Next Year New Podcast. Definitely check that out. Tom, we could also put in that website as well, right? They could connect it to you via tomheffner.com, right? Yeah?
Yeah, you can check out tomheffner.com, or if you want to listen to the podcast, it's at nextyearnowpodcast.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Tom, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Tom, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I'm going to say jumping in. So when I was very little, when I was 3 years old to 5 years old, I remember jumping into a pool, hoping my older sister would catch me.
Oh, did she catch you?
She did. Thankfully.
That's amazing. So why do you think this memory is so clear? And can you connect the dots to who you are now?
I think because it was a scary moment for a little kid, right? Being 2 or 3 years old. And I think the extremes, always good or bad, tend to stand out for us. And I think for me, that's probably something that stands out. And connecting the dots is that it's helped me become the risk taker that maybe I am. I'm not a huge risk taker, but to try different things in life, whether it's professionally, personally. I've changed my career where I work probably four times, like majorly. And maybe trace it all the way back to that moment when I wasn't afraid to jump into a pool with an older sister who may or may not catch me.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Yeah.
The support, my friend, that is so necessary as you dive into the deep.
I couldn't agree with that more.
So necessary. Wow. And it's good to know that you are definitely building that support. You spoke of your daughter, right, who is now there, right, who is going to be looking for your support as well as your other children, right? So it's your daughter and a son, is it, you said?
Yeah, 2 sons.
2 sons, right? I knew it was children, right? So I got that. Right. So yeah, even the support that they're going to be looking for, and that you do get that implemented from that model where now she's the one, right? She'll be depending on them to jump into the deep end. So pretty amazing stuff there.
Yeah, most definitely.
If we fast forwarded to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
This might be embarrassing, but I had a brother who was much older than me, and he grew up in the 80s listening to the glam bands, the hair bands of those times, and consequently, I became a big fan of Poison. So Poison, they had Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Look What the Cat Dragged In, but probably when I was 12, it was Every Rose Has Its Thorn was probably my favorite song.
Yeah, love it. All right, my friend. I will not connect dots on that, right? I'll leave that alone. Well, Tom, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Get it in 12. Are you ready, Tom?
I'm ready.
Tom, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I have, my son.
Are you married?
I am.
Do you have children?
I do, 3.
Do you believe in God?
Not really. I'm probably atheist, but maybe too chicken to fully embrace it. So I say that I'm agnostic.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, from high school and college to this day.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Nope.
How about 3 hours a week?
Probably 3 hours a week.
What about screen time? The phone and or the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Unfortunately, I would like to get this down, but it's about 8 hours a day.
Tom, after 1001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook. The name of it is called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. The idea being you answer questions similar to these to hopefully connect to your mission, which I like to call your own unique real statement. If you, Tom, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Tom Heffner, what would you say that is?
Love, be loved, and everything in between.
Even when between means jumping into the pool on the deep end and it's your sister that you need to depend on, definitely.
Even so. Definitely.
Tom Heffner, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Maybe one thing I would share, if you can do one thing different today, make it a habit to express gratitude each and every day. That one thing will pay huge dividends for the well-being of you and those around you.
Love it. Tom Heffner, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you for having me, and have a good night, sir.
You're welcome. You as well. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.